Welcome to a Goshen Health OneChart ambulatory implementation video. Today's topic, front office, scheduling a patient. This is the full book. This will be a 7-part series. The mission of the OneChart project team is to implement a unified EMR that will continue to elevate the exceptional care provided to our patients and surrounding communities by streamlining communications and workflows throughout our organization and enhance patient engagement. Before I start, I would like to offer an apology. We had considerable gap of time between this video and the last one. We had a few delays with build and workflows, but we are now back on track. You can expect these videos to come out a little more timely. Reminders? I know, the last video was an overview. It was long, around 30 minutes in length. That was needed to help you see the overall flow of the system. All videos, though, from here on out will be the 5 to 15 minutes as promised. Now we can get down to the details of what will help you perform your job in the future. Finally, once again, we are still building on the system and still working on your workflows as well. So what you see on the screen may change a bit between now and go live, which is now going to be May 1st, 2023. These videos are meant to give you an idea of the functionality of Meditech Expanse. The topics we'll be covering today are the 2 locations you are able to schedule. We will begin a 7-part series of how do you schedule a patient. Today's focus will be full book. In future videos, you will see the quick book, the group booking, walk-in, how to schedule a meeting, how to reserve an appointment, and the non-clinic or B&V. Please go to your desktop and click on the Expanse WPL test icon. You will be brought to a screen that looks like this. Please enter your Goshen email and your login. Then click Sign In. You should be brought to a screen that looks like this. You may have a few more options or a few less depending on your access. Today we will start with clicking on Ambulatory and then Office Staff. Just as a reminder from previous videos, if for any reason this does not allow you to go into the Meditech Expanse front office, please come down to the subdivision button at the bottom, click on it. If it does not say Goshen Physician Ambulatory, please change it and then click OK. This will bring you back to our original screen and you will click on Ambulatory Office Staff. If you are still unable to get into the system, please contact us at the OneChart email address. So once again, Ambulatory Office Staff. You should now be on the home screen. Today's focus is on the 2 locations that we can schedule patients. That would be the scheduling grid and the patient summary. Let's begin by going to the scheduling grid. In order to schedule a patient, you will click on the empty cell. Notice there are the different options for being able to schedule a patient: full book, quick book, the group, walk-in, meeting, reservation. There are a few other options that we will see when we go up to the patient summary screen. For now, we're going to focus on the full book. Please click full book. You'll have to find your patient. You will look the patient up by the birth date. I will have to look them up by their first and last name. Select your patient. I received this screen because I have put in a comment that I want to carry forward for each visit that the patient has with our clinic. Notice it says the registration February 2022. We're still working through what should go in here, but just so that you know, you do have that option. Let's click Close. This screen is from the scheduling grid, full book. Notice you have the patient's picture, their name. We can tell if they're enrolled in the patient portal, their age, their sex, their date of birth, who their PCP is, and if they have a patient balance. As I move on down the screen, you can see it's split into two sections. The main section is for our booking. The section to the right contains accordions that allow us to enter and edit certain pieces of information. The comment section that you saw upon entry was entered right here. This is a box that will remain with us each and every visit. In other words, it's at the medical record level. I have an accordion with special indicators, appointment details, demographics, insurance, the portal information, pharmacy, contact guarantors, visit history, and finance and care team at the very bottom. I do have two buttons that I can collapse or expand all of these accordions. Click up will collapse them all. Click down will expand them all. If I'd like to make a change in any of these, all I have to do is click on the edit button and it will let me go in and make the changes for this patient. Moving back to our center pane, you notice it's labeled full book. As I move down, the first accordion is my appointment. Right now I will be scheduling a single appointment. I can also schedule in sets, which mean two different types of appointments that need to go together. For instance, maybe obtaining an x-ray and then having the patient go in and see their provider. Or we can schedule series. A series is usually the same appointment that is done multiple times throughout the year. As we work our way down the screen, it automatically brings in our facility of Goshen Physician Ambulatory. The appointment section. We began an initiative to try to decrease the number of appointments that you have within your system. Originally, there were over 150. So we pulled together your managers, your directors, a few PSRs, and started discussing what do you actually need for an appointment. If you click on the drop down, you will see all the different appointments that pertain to your office. If I type the letter O, F, in the beginning, it will bring me to the section that I would like to schedule. Let's choose office visit. Once I've chosen my appointment, it will bring in the location that I just chose on the scheduling grid. It will bring in the duration. This duration is specific for this provider. To obtain appropriate durations, we did contact the offices and had the managers review with the providers what the providers would like in this situation. As we move on down, it automatically pulls in registration type and then reason for visit. If this is a procedure, I would have chosen procedure up above and then I could have typed in the reason for visit down below. The functionality for visit reason is a little twofold. I can come in here and I can use the look ahead functionality by typing a few letters of the word. If we choose to use the pick list, there are benefits for the back office. We do have the ability to attach a note to automatically populate. We do have the ability for this to populate into the HPI as a header. I could choose from this pick list, or I could complete typing out headache and use it as free text. In this case, I'm going to choose from the pick list. The date and time came in because that is the date and time in the cell that we chose in the scheduling grid. I can click in the comment box and type a comment for this visit. This comment will not go from visit to visit. If I want a comment to stay with the patient regardless of the visit, I will need to come back over here to the right in the comments section, accordion. I can then click edit and enter more information. When done, I will click Save. Coming back to the center. In another video, we will show you how to search for appointments, and we will also discuss the wait list. As we move on down, based upon the schedule that I chose from the scheduling grid, it has brought in my provider. If not, I would begin by typing in the first 2 to 3 letters of the last name of the provider. Because this patient has been in the system before, we know who the PCP is, and so it automatically brought in the PCP. The referring for the time being will be the PCP as well. Normally, if a patient goes to a specialist, the PCP is who has referred the patient. If the patient is coming to the primary care provider, usually no one has referred them, so it is the PCP as the referring. If we continue to scroll down, you can see there's an authorization referral section. This section is also connected to the ARM, which is an authorization referral management tool that we have. CareConnect and the triage nurses will either be using ARM or this section to keep track of the referrals. This is a bonus for our front office colleagues because now when a patient calls in, they can come to this section and review what has and has not been completed. As I scroll on down, you will see the insurance eligibility, and there is also a section for orders that we can talk about in a future video. Let's scroll to the top. Currently, we have workflow discussions going on as to whether to use the book pre or the book schedule. Instead of explaining these two out in detail, right now I would like you to click on the book pre. Now we are back to the scheduling grid with the patient's appointment on our schedule. The second place that I can schedule a full book is coming up to the top in the black navigation bar, the patient summary. Please click on the patient summary icon. Once again, I will search for this patient. Select the patient. This screen is utilized for looking at the patient's appointments in many different ways. We can schedule the patient. Once a patient is scheduled, we have the ability to check them in and check them out. It lists out all of my different appointments, and based upon selecting each appointment, it will show me all the information that is tied to that appointment. When I have an appointment selected, the screen will change over to the visit data information. If I choose to look at the patient's medical chart, I can click on the other tab. Now I do not have any appointments selected over here to the left. Any information in this section now will be showing me what is in the medical record or the highest level of this patient's chart. These accordions, I can click on the edit button. I can go in and make changes to the patient's information. If I go back to the top, I do have a refresh button. And our first button is the book. Let's click on the book. The patient reference screen will display again. Remember, this is the screen that with the comments that we'll see each and every time we go into the patient's chart. Let's click close. What now displays is the same exact screen that we just went through. I'm not going to complete it at this time, but if you would like to, please feel free to enter another patient. In the meantime, I'm going to back out by clicking cancel. So those are the two methods that you can enter a full book schedule. You can go through the scheduling grid or the patient summary. Thank you for your time.